Welcome. This is Driven to Discuss, and myself, Don Smith, and my co-host, Walmart Rich. We're here to give you a show of interviewing other drivers, people in the industry. Doesn't necessarily have to be Walmart, but just truck driver related. We're going to interview. We're going to talk about things. Going to talk about silly things, important things, and hopefully have a good time here. So sit back, relax, and let me introduce our guest today, Walmart driver Crespo or George Lewis. He'd rather be called Crespo, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Crespo. He is not a new Walmart driver, but you've only been here maybe 2 years, has it been? Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's pretty new still. Used to be a Prime owner, lease operator for, Prime, and, he's got a YouTube channel, which is YouTube channel is Crespo. Is it just Crespo?
Uh, I think I changed the name to Walmart Driver Crespo now.
Walmart driver Crespo. So, yeah, check out his channel. I love your shorts. You know, it's a lot of them are funny. You know,
Yeah,
he
I
said
try.
stuff there, kind of cracks me up, and it's useful. I mean, it's just fun stuff there. So check out his channel. We'll put a link to his channel in the description. Same with Rich's, which he is Walmart Rich and 20 plus trucking. So yeah, this is Crespo.
How you doing, guys?
Not too bad. So, Crespo, you said that you just mentioned a moment ago that you were a trainer with Prime as not an owner operator, a lease operator, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So, what? And I just about 6 months ago thought about becoming an owner operator, and I had actually thought about leaving Walmart for a short time because I thought, man, I need to make more money. I've got a family situation going on. I'm single. I can do the open road thing, all that kind of stuff. What is the best thing about Walmart versus being a lease operator? Because lease operators, I'm told you guys could have made a ton of money. So, what made you come to Walmart?
So I needed a consistent pay. I needed to count that if I was going to be out on the road, I was going to get paid. Being a family man, the main provider, I have to make sure I have money. I have to make sure I provide money. I make sure I provide benefits. And as a lease operator, you don't drive, you don't make money, but you also have the expenses that, your fixed costs that keep going. So you could go on vacation and come back and be $3,000 back on fixed costs, So it costs you money to go on vacation. You don't just go on vacation and feel like I will go on vacation and I'll be worried to spend money because I know I had about a $350 fixed cost expense per day. So every day that I wasn't driving, it was costing me $350. And now at Walmart, I feel so stress free. I make decent money. I'm able to keep living the life I was living while I was being a lease operator. I didn't have to switch anything around. Like I still drive the same car. I live in the same house. I still go out to eat. I still do all the things that I used to do as a lease operator, but now I don't have all that responsibility on me. Plus, I got
So
benefits.
so that brings up, well, you answered part of the question that I was going to ask. What's the stress level now compared to what it used to be? So now I'm going to change the question since you already answered it. Uh,
Yeah.
what did it cost you? What have you given up for that coming to Walmart?
The only thing that I miss about is being able to take off whenever I want it. That being free to say like I want to take 2 weeks off in Christmas. Now I have to put in, see if I get approved for the vacation time. And if I don't, then I can't take it off. But the main I lost that, the freedom to just go wherever I want, however long I wanted to go for. That's the only thing I've missed.
Did you mention pretty often
What's
when
that?
you were lease operating? You did that pretty often, or you really
Well,
couldn't
for
because of it?
For December, I would take Christmas and New Year's off. The middle of December to like middle of January, just to be home. The weather is bad, through December and January. So I wanted to be on the house better than being on the road. But
Right.
I I don't miss it. I don't miss it because even though we're at Walmart, they get you home for Christmas. And that's actually the only day that really matters, being home for Christmas for the kids. So I'm cool with that. Yeah.
So
I don't
let's say there's somebody out there right now who is kind of new to trucking. Maybe they're trying to they're in a lease purchase situation like you were in, or they're thinking about doing it. Do you have any tips for somebody who wants to be the owner operator, who wants the freedom, doesn't want to be a company driver? Do you have any tips for somebody like that? And how could they be successful being a lease operator?
So you have to talk to people that are successful right now. A lot of people get in and you start talking to so many different people that it could confuse you. It could guide you the wrong way if you're talking to somebody that's not being successful right now. And the successful people are not going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to tell you how it needs to be done. And you have to be open to taking advice from people. You have your mind set on, I want to do it this way, but your way might actually not make you successful. So you have to be open for whatever they're going to tell you and at least try it, you know? And anybody that's new that wants to think the things that they want to be an owner operator, I mean, the best thing to do is to do it. Like I tried it. I realized I didn't want to do it and I came company. I don't feel ashamed of not being able to do that because like I always say, I wanted to be a truck driver before I wanted to have a trucking business. You know, that's two different things. Like I'm a driver. I love driving. That's what I want to do. I don't want to have to drive and take care of a business at the same time. So, that's why I'm company. But for the new people that are coming in, learn as much as you want. And if in the middle of a lease, you decide you don't want to do it, it's not for you, it's okay to not do the lease. A lot of people feel like, oh, you failed, you shouldn't do this. Like, I got a lot of heat. A lot of people are like, oh, you only at Walmart because you couldn't make it at Prime, or you that. I'm like, I'm only at Walmart because I could make it at Walmart. Only good, you might not be able to make it. You know what I mean? Like when I wear my uniform, not everybody could wear it. So that's what I tell them.
That's very true. There's a lot of people who say, I'm not gonna wear a uniform, rah, rah, rah. It's like, you know what? The clothes don't make the man.
No, I love it though. When I wear that, people hold the door for me. They treat you different. People say hi. It's like, yeah, I'm wearing this uniform. I worked hard for this. Because it's not just the onboarding to be in Walmart. You also have to have a good driving record. You have to be a good driver. Like it's 30 months of good driving that could get you in the door and then maybe into Walmart. So, people worry about the onboarding and I'm like, worry about your driving record and then worry about the onboarding.
Yeah.
So that is my,
What was the hardest part about getting on at Walmart? Because you say you earned that uniform. So what was the hardest part about getting in at Walmart?
so I didn't get a call back for 3.5 months. I don't know what happened and I put my application, but I didn't get a rejection and I didn't get anything. So I'm like, okay, I had actually just finished my last student. I was like, I'm not gonna take any other students because I don't want to leave them halfway. So when they called me, I had already scheduled and I already had a student that I was gonna go pick up. So I was like, and I'm like, well, this is my opportunity. That student, they'll find him another trainer. And so I didn't quit. I gave him I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take 2 weeks off to go through the onboarding and all that. But I was nervous because when I did the interview, he asked me if I knew how to drive manual truck. If I had a manual restriction, and I don't. I don't have a manual restriction because they didn't put it on me, but I've never driven manual. So I was like, I don't have the restriction, but I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to drive manual. It's like, well, don't worry about it. All the trucks are going automatic now anyway, so we'll skip that question. I'm like, oh, thank God, because that could have not made. I wouldn't probably be here if it was for that question. And that was the most that was nervous. I was like, and then after you talk to them, you're like, what did I do right? Telling them, like, should I have not said anything? And I'm like, I'm waiting and I'm just like, Man, I was stressing because I really wanted to leave, you know?
Well, if you knew that we were all automatic or going to automatic, you would have probably wouldn't have worried about it as much. And that's what's good about watching, like this show here or our channels. You'll learn that. And um, for some people, that's a deal breaker. Say, oh,
Yeah.
we're all automatic. Well, never mind then. And then they don't apply. So yeah, I can understand. Probably would have been stressed about that, just like you.
I remember I remember your videos when you first got the automatic.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing was is that we were trying to play it up because I was trying to play up on people get really emotional and they're like old time truckers, like, oh, I'm not driving an automatic. I'll just
Yeah.
proud of the business, I'll retire, these people are crazy. And I'm thinking, I got a great job. No, I got freaking mine. I'll drive an automatic. But we played up on that. I had the thumbnail where I had the sad face, and I'm like, I forget what it said, but basically, it's all different from here, or
Yeah.
what did it say? I got a call from Walmart, and now everything's changed, so I was playing the drama up on it. But I mean, it was all true statements, but you let people's minds run.
Yeah.
So what DC do you work out of, Crespo?
I work at a DC 6868 in Sanger, Texas.
Okay.
And this is funny. When you go on all those Facebook pages and everything, everybody's like, oh, DC 7031, DC 6068. And I'm just like, where's that? Then I don't know my number. Like I appreciate you telling me your DC, but I would like to know what state, what DC, because I don't know my number. I'm new, anyways. So
It doesn't matter if you're new or not. I don't know half these numbers either. And we've sold tons of hoodies and shirts and things, my wife and I, and we have a list of like 100 DCs because that's about
yeah,
right. We have, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm out of 72, whatever," and I'm like, "That doesn't mean anything to me. Which state?"
yeah.
Uh, yeah,
So
well, for people that don't know, I was just thinking I probably should point this out. Right now, I'm a GM driver, 5 on, 5 off. We got a pretty diverse cast here right now. Rich is an Alaska driver that works, and takes loads to Alaska. And Crespo is an over the road. Yeah, you're over the road.
Yeah, team driver.
Walmart team driver. Well, and Rich's team also. So these are three things that are actually kind of rare at Walmart. Even me, 5 on, 5 off. Yeah, we have a lot of them, but
Yeah.
by far, there's more people working full time, like 5 on, 2 off, or whatever. So, I mean, if anybody's looking for information, you got three people here that have unique information, I think.
And that kind of leads me into what I was just going to ask Crespo, because being that he's in Texas, I'm in Washington, but I started in Indiana. You do 5 on, 5 off. You're in California. Anybody who might want to leave their company or wherever they're at and come to Walmart, there is a referral program. So when somebody uses someone as a referral, they get pushed up in the application. So it's good for somebody to use a referral. So if somebody wanted to use Crespo as a referral, how would they go about doing that?
Well, yeah, you can use me. They could contact me at Crespo Trucking 76 at Gmail. And I give them my driver number 65480, my DC, my full name, whatever they have. But I like for them to reach out to me on emails because I want to. Not only do I want them asking me questions, I also ask them questions back. Like I want to know. Like I'm not gonna wait for you to give me a question. I want to know, and I could be like, "Are you okay with this?" Because this is how it is at Walmart. I want to be like full transparent to make sure that when you come to Walmart, like what I told you is what I was expected. No surprises. No, oh, he didn't tell me that. If I'm gonna help you, I want to tell you everything up front, so you're not being outside, be like, oh, well, he didn't tell me that. Why didn't he tell me that? If I would have known that, if I would have known this, just want to be all straightforward. You, again, whether you like it or you don't like it, that's how it is. And I want you to make a decision based on that. So,
So I think Don, you'll be able to put everybody's information in the bottom. If somebody wants to use somebody as a referral, they can do that. So
Yeah, I'll do that.
I just want to make sure people get pushed up to the top of the list if they decide they do want to come to Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Right. Yeah, I forgot
Sorry.
what I was gonna say.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure we got the right information out there that people could get to it if they want to. But Crespo, you said something that I completely agree with, because I have always said in my videos and even when I talk to people, Walmart isn't for everybody. Walmart is a great job. Walmart is the best job I have ever had. And I always tell people, I always preface it with I have ever had. It might not be the best job for you. If you want to be home every single day and only work 10 hours a day, Walmart is not for you. If you want to make 100 to 120,000 your first year, you don't mind being kind of somewhat local, but what we call regional for 5 days at a time, make that kind of money, have great benefits and all the other stuff that comes along with it, then yeah, Walmart might be for you, but it's not for everybody.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems is that everybody wants to blanket what is possible and what's not possible with trucking companies. Well, it's pretty tough to do with Walmart, considering that you get a DC that's in the middle of a major city out in the Midwest where they have all these opportunities like day cab. They got like a lot of positions day cab. Like let's look at Montana. I mean, they got a whole bunch of day cab people that go home every night. And there's people that get hired on there and they go right into that. Well, we have day cabs also at Red Bluff, but you're probably not going to get a job here and go straight to that because there's not that kind of opportunity. And so, like you were saying, work 10 hours and go home and then every night. I mean, that changes wherever it is in the United States. Like Crespo, you do the over the road team. We don't have that opportunity out here. That's only what, Texas and a couple of chosen places, right?
Yeah, in the southern states, usually like Georgia, Texas, Arizona, and Florida.
Right. And so, there's no way to blanket it. So when people say, well, how much money will I make at Walmart? It's like, I don't know. I mean, you're from Timbuktu, whatever, out in Wisconsin, up in the Northeast. One, I've never worked out there. Two, there's different opportunities. Three, I don't even know how you're going to work. The thing to look at Walmart is what DC's closest to you, what's the opportunities, and what is it you want to do? One thing that does remain the same across the board is it's a great place to work. There's way too many places and too many states that are saying this is the best job I ever had. I wish I'd have came here earlier. There's just too many people saying that. I had a guy the other day tell me that Walmart, I wouldn't work for Walmart. I'd rather go and do DoorDash, hustling for, groceries or something. And I said, well, a lot of people are pretty happy with their job at Walmart. So good luck with the DoorDash.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep. That's what I tell them. I'm like, hey, it's fine, man. We're good. Everybody that's where I work is happy, and we really. I think there's not. I've had more negativity at other places that I worked before. We were with your coworkers than at Walmart. Everybody seems happy. Everybody says hi. Everybody say, hey, how you doing? And that alone means a lot. You want to work somewhere where people are happy to be there.
I've always said working at Walmart feels a lot more old school because the drivers kind of have that mentality a little bit. But a lot of people I say, oh, truck drivers today aren't like they used to. We used to be a familyhood or brotherhood. We used to be family. At Walmart, all of the drivers, it feels that way. And it kind of trickles down into some of the driver programs that we've got at Walmart, like this Walmart Heart program they've got. We just had a thing last week where all three DCs across the state of Washington were doing cookouts for the drivers, and the drivers would throw money into a bucket for a kid who's got, I think it was leukemia or brain cancer or something like that. I don't hear. I don't hear about other companies, Schneider, Swift. I don't hear any of those companies talking about what they do for their communities like we do here at Walmart.
Yes.
You were just saying right now about the old school said, oh, we were all family. Yeah, but we kind of interpret history how we would like to. Because I was around back in 2002 as a CDL holder. And yeah, it did look like family, but I wasn't allowed to be part of that family. I'm not talking about Walmart. I'm talking about in truck driving in general.
Yeah,
I
but
remember
the
just trying
trucking brotherhood.
Yeah, no, I remember back then and you go into the restaurant, it had a section just for truck drivers. They've gone out. And so I remember going to sit there that I'm tired and beat at the end of the day. I'd like to have a conversation with someone and just relax. Most of them wouldn't even talk to me. As far as you got to the conversation was, "Oh, how long you been driving?" "Oh, it's only been about 6 months." That's the end of that conversation, and
Yep.
anybody that overheard it, they didn't have nothing to say to me after that. Back then, they said "Oh, well, you gotta have at least 2 years experience." Most of the people were like, "Yeah, you need more like 10 years before you get the full respect from everyone." And it was like, man, I came from, like, construction, and that was all foreign to me. I thought, "Wow, I gotta work, like, 10 years before you're gonna give me some decent respect, and I gotta be here at least 2 or 3 years before we could have a conversation." Yeah, it looked like a pretty good family on their side, but I wasn't allowed in that.
Yeah.
So I like Walmart because Walmart recently in the last 10 years or 8 years is hiring a lot more drivers that are newer drivers that may only have 30 months experience. And I notice I'm very welcoming to them, and I notice everybody is. So this family here that I'm seeing nowadays, I like the looks of it a lot more than what I saw, 25 years ago.
I wouldn't know. I just been trucking for 6 years.
What do we got here on this? We can't talk to him. He's too new. What do you think?
Nah, I'm old. I knew this was gonna happen. I was gonna go old one day, damn it. Oh, well.
But I think it feels good to be the youngest one on the thing.
When I came to Walmart, it did feel good to be the kid. I was the kid, right? I was like one of the youngest people in our DC, and after a while, I was like, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know.
You know, uh, as a team driver, I wish I was more of a regional driver that I could be more in the office and be able to talk more to people. Because if I didn't want to talk to anybody, I could just get to work, get in the truck, take the tablet, and leave. Come back, clean my truck, do what I gotta do the tablet, and leave. Like I don't even have to go in the office if I don't want to. But I gotta go in. I gotta say hi to the people in the office. Hey Cindy, hey Mindy, hey hey everybody. I work here. Recognize me when you see me. I'm not. So
Well, sometimes I get up real early in the morning and go in to get my paperwork, and you don't have to talk to people if you didn't want to because they put our paperwork on the table, and I could just walk in and grab my bills and leave. And I'm like, I'm groggy. I don't know what to say. And you can't get across that break room without somebody, one or two people going, "Hey, Don, what are you doing today?" I was like, uh, they're like, "Oh, show up,
Don's like, wait, I'm focused. I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll talk to you in a second.
I know. I'm gonna slip out the back door. So people want to talk to you. It's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And now some people are starting to recognize me from like YouTube or TikTok, and like they look at me, they do that double look, like, Crespo? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You gotta say hi. It feels good. It feels good when people see you.
Yep.
So anybody see anybody of us, you're free to say hi to us. No, we don't mind.
I'm always
That look, yeah, you said it, the double take, and you already know before they know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's YouTube, and they're like, "I got so."
I've always joked with people that I'm gonna start walking around with a stack of headshots that I can autograph to give to people, and
Well, you know what it is? Some might not even say hi because they forget our names. They might just be like, oh, that's a name.
20 plus. That's what they call me. 20 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That works.
so when you were an owner operator lease driver, did you get that sense of camaraderie? Did you feel like that trucking world was there because you were an owner operator, not just a company driver?
So at Prime, it was good at the beginning. There are a lot of things that changed where it's made it more like it felt like a competition. Like at the beginning, it didn't feel that way, but towards the end, it was feeling like a competition, like you're my competitor. So it was kind of like stay away. It didn't feel like we were there to help each other. I'm here to I'll say hi, but I'm not telling you where I'm going, where my good loads are. Like we weren't sharing nothing because it became a competition of like, I got to make more money than him because, and I feel like that's what's happening now with trucking. Everybody's out for themselves and everybody's just trying to make their own money and everybody's just kind of staying away from each other. Where we are at Walmart, we all could make the same amount of money as long as we work. So it's more, we don't have that competition mentality. We're over here like, hey man, how you doing? Like we'll help you out, you help us out. It's not so much a competition like it was when I was leaving Prime, like because at the end it kind of is a competition because I'm not gonna tell you where the good loads are because I want to get them. If I tell you, then you're gonna get there before me, and then I won't have them. So it became a competition.
Right, and here at Walmart, there's no lack of, loads or just yeah, so, I mean, what is the competition about? As a YouTuber, there's a lot of YouTubers I've met, they kind of feel like it's a competition or they don't wanna collab or talk or things like that, and I've been into the entrepreneur thing for a long time, and anybody that's studied this knows that yeah, there may be customers out there as an entrepreneur, and you don't wanna, like, tell people about it, but it actually works better when you work together instead of thinking it's a competition. I think that applies to everything, you know?
Yeah,
There's enough for everybody.
yeah. You know, I
So
I I started YouTube because I wanted to help people and tell them the story when I was at Stevens, but I also wanted to have something for my kids to watch if I ever passed away. They could always go back and watch my videos and just have something to see me, like hear my voice, see what I was up about. So I've been on YouTube for like 5 years, but I don't get big because I don't, you know, I didn't want to be I did my videos, yeah, to have some info, but it was mostly for like memories. Now I'm kind of like people asking me more questions about Walmart and things like that. So now I'm like, hey, yeah, like I'll talk to you guys. I talk to more people, but some YouTube people that are starting, they want to go super big, and that's fine. But that wasn't my idea at first.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that 'cause, I kind of felt that way too, like, if I'm myself,
Yeah.
instead of trying to be somebody I'm not, if I just be myself and everybody tells me that, they're like, "Oh, Don, 20 plus, yeah, he's, like, totally down to earth, like, down to earth guy." If I'm myself and my kids go back and review this after I'm gone, then they'll see, how I navigate life and what I think is important, and they know I want them to be that way too. It'll be a reminder. Maybe the grandkids do, who knows?
Yeah.
So
Something to leave behind.
I think so, yeah. So I think at this point in the video, I think that we should go with the Warren Report. And so the Warren Report is where Rich will come up with some stories that he's looked into. It could be funny, it could be trucking related. And so we're going to go ahead and do that and take it away, Rich.
All right, this is Rich Warren with the Warren Report. New Zealand scientists have film of a snail giving birth out the side of its neck, and women think they have it bad. There's a woman in Australia who just set the Guinness World Record for the number of pull-ups by a female. You guys want to guess how many pull-ups this woman did in 24 hours?
1,000.
I was gonna say like 250. That's a lot.
In 24 hours.
Oh, 24 hours?
24 hours.
800?
7,079. She said while she was training, she pulled a bicep, had to stop for 2 months to recover, and then went back to training. And this actually was, she broke her own record because the previous record was like 6,000 and something, and she redid it. She has now set the female world record for pull-ups in 24 hours at 7,079.
I'm
So-
pretty sure that record's gonna stay for a long time.
She could break her own record maybe, but yeah, I mean I mean I couldn't do one pull up and she's doing 7,000 and I'm like it'd take me 24 years.
Yeah. He's probably gonna be sore for like a week.
So I'm not sure if we're going to do this now, but I'm going to mention it. So we were talking before we got on the camera about things that we do, and there may be some little what did you call that, Crespo? Pre-show. What was that pre-show? When we were talking about the pre-show stuff, where people could watch the pre-show stuff. What did you call that? Or where people get into this extra membership or whatever. What did you call that?
Oh yeah, members only.
Members only.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were talking in some stuff that may come out later for members only kind of stuff about various different topics. So
Behind the scenes.
yeah. So Crespo, you said you hate playing lottery or going to the casino because you lose your money and you're just not very good at it and it makes you angry. And I felt the same way. Don, do you get into the casino or lottery at all?
When I first started driving truck, I'd go through all these states like Nevada and whatever. And I'm not a big gambler. And back then I would go in with like $20 and I go to the dollar machine. I just bet max. And then if I could double my money, I'd stop. Or if I lost it all, I'd just walk away. And a lot of times I would double my money. I'd get $40 and then I would just stop right there, which everybody thought that was crazy. They're like, keep going. It's starting to win. I was like, no, I doubled my money. I'm done.
All right, Crespo, what's the biggest win you've ever had?
I never.
Never had a big win?
I always lost it.
I scratched off a lottery ticket. I scratched off a $10 lottery ticket one time about 10 years ago and won $5,000.
I won $100 on a scratch ticket. I won 100. So that's
Okay.
good.
Well, there's a guy in Maryland that's going to make us all very angry because he has won a 6-digit jackpot for the third time. In 2022, the guy won $250,000 off of a Gold Rush lottery ticket. In 2019, he won $100,000 on a random scratch-off lottery ticket. He borrowed $10 from his wife recently, went to the store, bought a scratch-off, and won $100,000 on another scratch-off. His wife said that they're going to spend the money since she gave him the $10 to buy the ticket. She's getting new windows and new cabinets in the house, and college funds are going to get set up for their grandkids. But this guy's won three six-figure jackpots off scratch-offs.
And he still had to borrow $10 from.
That's what I thought was great about the story is he borrowed $10 from his wife to buy the ticket.
Exactly.
Oh man. I was like, that you know, that's money and still have to borrow money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So anyway, that's the Warren Report. Just some interesting things that I found in the news that I thought you guys might find interesting.
That was good. That was good, man.
So we also talked in the beginning, if you guys get subscribe to the bonus footage, you'll find out something about me that most people don't know, because I just realized I've never even talked about it in my videos, but something that I like to do as a hobby is magnet fishing. Have you guys ever watched any YouTube videos of these guys doing magnet fishing?
Yeah.
Pulling safes, guns, all kinds of stuff out of the river.
Yeah.
I've never found anything that cool, but I got like a bicycle tire. I think might have been the funniest thing I've ever pulled out of the river, but it's a cool hobby. It's kind of fun to do. You guys got any hobbies or anything you guys find interesting that people might want to get into?
I like bridges.
Okay. So like you're an architect, like a side type architect, or
I wanted to be. I wanted to be a bridge engineer, but it just. I feel like I maybe I didn't have like somebody to tell me, oh, that's cool, because when you're in high school, I was like, what? Why do you want to do that? Like everybody just like, we're crazy. If maybe one or two people would have been like, oh, that's awesome, then maybe I would have pursued it. But no one really kind of like gave me that confidence boost, like, oh my God, that's awesome, and now I'm trucking. I don't mind it. I like it, but I guess, yeah, I could have done that if somebody would have pushed me to do it, like just give me that, like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then I would have been like, oh, maybe I should pursue that, But that is, I drive along, I see bridges and I'm like, man, that's awesome. I wonder how long it takes, and like, I want to know how's the maintenance on those, because every bridge needs maintenance and all that stuff. And before I came trucking, I was a Uber driver in Massachusetts, and I've actually met a grid engineer, and he was on his way to Dubai to check on a project that he had, and I was like, that could have been me, like in my mind, I'm like, wow, no, this is just the world rubbing it in my face, like you could have been the one going on a trip to Dubai. But yeah, that's what I like. Not a lot of people, I don't tell people because it's not, a lot of people don't like it, but that's something weird that I like, and you know, that's my weird thing.
So you could have been that guy in the movie Something About Mary with the Nepalese coins. But he was an architect, right? What?
Yeah, yeah, could have been me. But yeah, I don't have any hobbies. That's it. What about you, Don? What hobbies do you like?
Well, strange hobbies. I don't really have any strange ones that I know of, but photography. I think that's how I landed up doing YouTube because I got into photography. My wife was into it, and I finally bought a good camera and just yeah, I took courses and learned all that, and I got pretty good at it. Make some really unique photos, and people ask me, "How come you don't do photography anymore?" Well, because I think the new hobby is video, video, audio, and but no strange hobbies. Make t-shirts and hoodies, printing, not make them, but we print them. But that's kind of
You got 7 kids in the basement putting shirts together.
That's what people say. Hang on a little figure out there.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you on your printing business, is there any like size limit on your shirts and on your hoodies? Like, oh, I can only do up to 3X. I could go,
no.
let's say,
We've done maximum sizes. What's the largest we ever did? 6XL or 7?
I think you guys got me a 7X shirt one time.
Oh, yeah, I think it was 7. We got one for Rich back in the early days. They're hard to get, so you can't just pick any brand and then get. So you have to like get particular brands. So yeah, I guess 7. I mean, they're like a blanket, an axe. Right. Well,
I saw
yeah,
his post. He was almost 500 pounds. I was like,
yeah,
whoa.
yeah. And now you're what?
That's awesome.
You're 3X now, right?
Actually, these shirts that I'm wearing today, and it's a little bit loose, but these are the big and tall store, and I've got 2XL tall. So
Nice. Yeah, no,
No,
right.
no.
And that's when I realized that a lot of Walmart drivers are big like me because when I started selling the hoodies, like I was selling up to like 3XL, and I got guys complaining, going, "Well, I need a 5XL or a 6XL or 4," and I'm thinking, and after a while, I was like, I was getting email after email after email. I'm like, wow, how big are these drivers? I'm 2XL. If I'm not careful, I'll land up 3XL, but yeah, so that's how that goes.
So that I just got me thinking, Crespo, how do you guys handle food and eating when you guys do since you're a team driver, how do you guys handle finding food on the road and doing things like that?
So I bring my snacks and fruits on the side, and I get like the prepare meals where you just throw them in the microwave for 2 minutes, and he brings food. He could eat out. I'm trying not to. I'm not saying I don't. Like we stopped at the Big Texan, and I got me a steak because I'm not gonna get there and not eat. But we've split the fridge. Like I get the top part of the fridge. He gets the bottom, and I get the top part of the door, and he gets the bottom half. And it's working great. I mean, I get my 6 meals in there. He gets his food, and he has a little cooler that we use on the next to us when we're driving. And that way I get like all my snacks and everything. I put them in there so I don't have to wake him up if I'm trying to get back there to get some food.
That's the. Well, I was just going to mention we have a cooler. It's kind of a decent size when you plug into the cigarette lighter, and you can get it. You can make this thing freeze stuff. We put all of our snacks, all of our water, our tea, whatever we drink. We put all that stuff in there so that we've got it, so we don't have to wake up the other guy. I know it's kind of a little bit off topic for this video, but it was something I wanted to ask you because it just dawned on me as you were talking about that kind of stuff. So it sounds like you guys do the same thing we do.
Yeah, food is expensive on the road.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, I had the weight loss surgery 2 years ago, but now that I've got a limited menu, I can only bring certain things. And where I'm at, you're in the lower 48. When we go through Canada, there's not a lot of truck stops up there. There's little card locks, but you can't get anywhere to get anything. And it's harder to get a truck somewhere like they don't, I mean, they got fast food up there, but that's pretty much about it. You can't get that truck to anywhere decent to grab decent food. So him and I both, we food prep every single week, everything we do. Don's kind of lucky. You can get just about anywhere. He probably doesn't have to food prep.
Yeah, I'm lucky. Yeah. So that reminds me. So you're up in Alaska. Do you come into some of these hole in the wall places like little general store? And have you seen the stink? I think they call them stinky heads. Do you know what those are?
No.
In Alaska, that's like it's like fermented salmon heads. Like it's a thing.
No, I know salmon's a big deal up there, but I haven't seen that yet. But again, we only stop at certain locations to get fuel, and that's it. So
I'm probably screwing this up pretty good. My buddy from Alaska is probably going to correct me, but I'm pretty sure he called them stinky heads or something like that. And like the natives and a lot of Alaska people, they love them. It's yeah, they're eating it's like fermented heads or something, or I don't want to say rotted, but
yeah, I'm gonna look for them now.
So you don't,
I won't eat them, but I'll look for them.
well, you don't run across unique or weird stuff at like little general stores and things like that.
We can't really get to a lot of those kind of places. They're more for the locals. It'd be really hard to get a truck into some of those places, especially with these Alaska trucks. They're a little bit longer and a little bit bigger. We've got the triple axles on the trailers, and we've got a longer base on the tractor itself. I don't know about you, Crespo, if you guys have got that or not, but so like when we're running local, they don't even want us to use our truck because we can't do backhauls and certain things here in the lower 48 because our trucks are so big.
Yeah,
They have your trucks. There's been people that I heard that came and picked up your old trucks and took them to what he's doing.
yeah. My truck, it was an Alaska truck. It has a Yukon sticker on the window.
Okay.
They put the fenders, I guess the side flares. They removed the deer guard. They put different tires on the.
Yeah, then they basically un-Alaska the truck because that's what makes it an Alaska truck is they've got the bigger tires, they've got the deer guard on. Why would they take the deer guard off? I mean, you guys got deer in Texas, don't you?
I don't know why, but I drove an Alaska trailer a month ago or so, and we got pulled over in Illinois because he's like, "How do you have two plates in the trailer?" I had the Alaska plate and whatever Oklahoma or whatever plate on there. And I knew it was an Alaska truck because of that. And it had the big fuel tank underneath, like for the reefer.
Yep.
It was I was like, oh man, I'm getting a lot of points. And then I'm like, oh wait, I might be overweight now because I was picking up milk. And I was like, oh, I can't fill it up all the way because now that's gonna be extra weight. So
Yep, that's another thing that we have to be careful of is in the lower 48, we're permitted for more in Alaska and Canada, but in the lower 48, we've got to be cool with the fuel and whatnot until we get over the border. I didn't realize it was that different between the Alaska and you guys. I thought team drivers were team drivers. I didn't realize that was a big difference, but it sounds like there is.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're at the hour mark, aren't we, Don?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're at the hour mark because of the members only that people should subscribe to watch because it was good. If they don't watch it, they're missing out on some funny stuff, the bloopers, the behind the scenes.
Maybe I'll mix that in. We'll do a little montage or something.
Okay. Yeah.
So, actually, I got a question for Crespo. So now you've been here a couple of years and you've done both sides of this, the lease operator and then Walmart. What would you tell people that are just getting into trucking? Like they're going to go get their CDL. I mean, what's your best advice?
The best one is keep your driving record clean. Be careful, take your time. What's gonna make you money in trucking is your driving record, your license. Not company driving, not lease operating, that comes later on. To just focus on learning, being patient on the road, and being safe, that's what's gonna make you money in the long run. Later on in the future, that's what's gonna get you the job because I used to tell my students, you could have 3 years experience and a guy that had 30 years experience, but if he's flipped 3 trucks and got a bunch of speeding tickets, you're gonna get the job, not that guy. So that is the biggest thing that I would put on my students. Your driving record is what's gonna make you money. Don't worry about everything else. Yeah, that's my advice.
So your focus is the long game then.
Yeah, because I I was company, I was lease, and I'm company again. And at the end of the day, you know, you're gonna make money. In trucking, you're gonna make money. It's just your license is what's gonna make. I wouldn't be making the money I'm making now if I didn't have a clean driver record. And that even with your car, it's not just trucking. It's even in your vehicle, your personal vehicle. So,
I agree. That's one of the things I tell all the people that are just getting into it. Do whatever you can to not mess up. Well, really ever, but I mean, especially in those first 3 years, like you're going to get pushed by these companies to, oh, just deliver it, or you need to make it here, you need to do this and that kind of thing. Or, yeah, you got to give up some money if you want to gain more money in the future. Because if you try to get it all now, you'll find yourself with a ticket, an accident, an incident, which is not even something that's reported to the police. It's just your company knows about it. I've already talked to a couple of people that they're not getting a job at Walmart because they have an incident where they, scraped a trailer or busted a little light or whatever. So, yeah, I agree. 100%.
yeah, that is, and just enjoy it. It's a good thing. If you really love trucking, just sit back, enjoy it. When you do your trip planning, if there's like when we go by Amarillo, there's the big Texan. They got truck parking. We get out, we got out. We ate good. It's a different experience. He's never been there, so just learn it, enjoy it, be safe. Make sure your wife's okay with you being not being home, and you're good.
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, I totally understand. Well, if you do the math, where do you spend most of your time? Where most truck drivers spend their time is not at home. It's not with their wife. It's in the truck. So, yeah, maybe money's not everything, maybe the time you spend all day long every day, is important.
Yeah, like I've made more money where I was at Prime, but I'm happier here. I'm home. I'm eating healthier. I'm losing weight. I'm feeling better. And yeah, owning a truck is not, it's not like as some people put it. Everybody makes it seem like, oh, you're an operator. You're making all this money. No, you have all these responsibilities before you make any money. So
You were
it's,
working you were working a lot more though when you
oh
were
yeah.
or because you're getting 3 days off every 6th day. How many days off did you get doing prime lease up?
Oh, I would be out for 6, 7 weeks to have a week off. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, my wife said I didn't get married to be single, and I understood the assignment.
Wow.
Well, before I came to Walmart, I did a tanker company, and we would take cream out to Wisconsin, and then I'd go down into Florida and take milk down there, and then get eggs or something, and bring them out to California. And I would do that double round trip thing. And I remember being gone like 5, 6 weeks at a time. Same thing. Yeah, I wouldn't go home because I didn't live by the terminal. And yeah, I wish I'd have never done that. But even then, I'm working a lot more. And it just wasn't a good life. Well, then, right before my daughter was born, my wife says, "Well, you're going to be a father now. I don't know what you're going to do, but you're not doing that anymore." And I was like, "All right, got the mess. That's pretty good."
Yeah. We know. I know who's the boss.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So, but yeah,
so that's what I got then. You got anything else, Rich? Any other
I'm good. Appreciate you for being here, Crespo.
hey man, it's been a pleasure. Like to be with you guys. You guys are like the Walmart face on YouTube, on everywhere, you know? Anybody that talks about Walmart, they know Don or they know Rich, you know? So my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here with you guys, man.
I've never really definitely made some faces over Walmart. So yeah, that
Yeah.
relax.
Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity, you know? It was great. I like
You're
it.
welcome. Thank you.
So
Then, so that's it then. Hope you guys liked the show. And yeah, if you got any suggestions of anybody that you think might be a good guest or somebody you actually know or even somebody you know of, just email us. I'll put the email on the screen. You can email me, Don at 20plustrucking.com or Rich. What's your email again?
Yeah, if you've got funny stories or things you think I need to put in a Warren report, it's drkaraokedj@gmail.com.
So there you go then. Just yeah, drop us a line and hey, you never know. We might use it. So all right.
all right.
Thanks guys.
All right. Thank you. See you guys.